General Hospital spoilers tease that the relationship between Curtis and Portia is becoming increasingly strained and difficult, especially after Portia firmly refused to let Curtis take on a dangerous mission. Curtis, with his natural instinct to protect others and face danger head-on, feels stifled by Portia's excessive worry. He believes that she doesn't trust his abilities, which leaves him feeling frustrated. On the other hand, Portia only wants to keep the man she loves safe from potential risks and doesn't want to lose Curtis to any more dangerous situations, especially after everything they've been through in the past. This disagreement has led to endless arguments between them. Curtis feels pressured by Portia's overprotectiveness, while Portia fears that Curtis is being reckless and disregarding his own safety. Their relationship, once filled with love and connection, is now facing significant challenges as they struggle to find common ground. Without understanding and empathy, Curtis and Portia's relationship could spiral into a deeper crisis, leaving them at risk of growing apart in the near future. Curtis is tormented by guilt following Sam's death during the intense investigation they both took part in. The tragic event has left Curtis devastated, not only because he lost an important ally, but also because he feels personally responsible for Sam's death. Memories of her final moments haunt Curtis, and each day he is unable to escape the overwhelming weight of guilt. The situation becomes even worse when Drew and Jason, two of the most important men in Sam's life, begin to blame Curtis for her death. Drew, with his deep love and complex bond with Sam, cannot accept that she lost her life during a dangerous investigation led by Curtis. He accuses Curtis of being careless, of failing to ensure Sam's safety, and believes that if Curtis hadn't put Sam in such a dangerous situation, she would still be alive. Drew is consumed with grief and loss, unable to forgive Curtis for what happened. Jason, who had a long and emotional relationship with Sam, is equally unable to stay silent. Though usually calm and composed, Sam's death has pushed Jason into a state of anger and sorrow. He blames Curtis for being reckless and putting Sam's life at risk without a clear protection plan. With his extensive experience in handling dangerous situations, Jason feels Curtis made critical mistakes in how he handled the case. In Jason's eyes, Curtis failed to protect Sam and didn't make the right decisions during the most critical moments. The blame from both Drew and Jason not only deepens Curtis's guilt, but also sends him into a fierce internal struggle. Curtis begins to question whether he truly deserves such harsh criticism. He wonders if his decisions really did lead to Sam's death. The moments of the incident replay in his mind, and the combination of his grief and the pressure from Drew and Jason's accusations drive Curtis into a mental breakdown. This situation not only isolates and torments Curtis, but also creates significant rifts in his relationships with those around him. Drew and Jason, who once respected and collaborated with Curtis, have now become his adversaries. Curtis is not only grappling with the pain of Sam's death, but also facing immense pressure from the constant blame, trapping him in a spiral of guilt and emotional breakdown. Feeling cornered and lost, Curtis begins to fall apart, questioning whether he can ever atone for or salvage anything from this tragic situation. While everyone around him blames Curtis, he is left fighting with himself to find a way to move forward, even as the pain and guilt relentlessly haunt him each day. Curtis's deepening breakdown following Sam's death is not only affecting his mental state, but is also leading to a series of unpredictable consequences. The guilt and pressure from being blamed by Drew and Jason have left Curtis losing control of himself, setting off a chain of chaotic events in his life. Curtis starts to distance himself from everyone, sinking further into the darkness of his guilt, unable to escape the pain of feeling responsible for Sam's death. Curtis's deteriorating state has also taken a serious toll on his relationship with Portia. Their love, which had already faced numerous challenges in the past, is now more fragile than ever. Portia, who has always tried to stand by Curtis through the most difficult times, is beginning to feel powerless in her attempts to pull him out of his downward spiral. She realizes that Curtis is no longer the strong man she fell in love with, but is now a broken, guilt-ridden shell of the person he once was. Despite her best efforts to help him, the distance between them continues to grow. Ultimately, Curtis's breakdown pushes their relationship to the point of no return. Curtis no longer has the strength to maintain his love for Portia, and Portia can no longer endure living in a relationship filled with despair and hopelessness. The decision to part ways becomes inevitable, and their breakup not only shocks them both, but also marks the beginning of an even larger disaster. The breakup between Curtis and Portia causes pain for both of them, but it also has a ripple effect on those around them. Portia, despite her deep love for Curtis, finds that she can no longer handle the turmoil in his life and must make the difficult choice to leave him in order to protect herself. Her departure plunges Curtis further into despair, potentially leading him to take dangerous and unpredictable actions. As Curtis faces the collapse of his life, a greater disaster begins to unfold. This event not only shatters the love between Curtis and Portia, but also puts everyone in a state of tension, as no one can predict what will happen next, as Curtis spirals out of control.